What is the most rich thing you've seen wealthy people say do casually? I once stayed at a place that was $10,000 a night, amenities included. Luckily my health insurance paid 90 cents. I'd met my deductible. It was from an 8-year-old. My very wealthy friend got remarried and her son said he wouldn't mind staying with me while they went on their honeymoon. As we took our seats on the plane, he looked so confused. He sheepishly asked, "Who are all these people on your plane?" "Oh, my little dude. Pay USPS to keep the local branch of their post office open. It had been selected to close so they didn't have to drive as far to go to the post office. Contact her here. Lady did not like the shape of the pool at the new the job to change the shape. Does the job. So I tell her we can guarantee the workmanship for 5 years, but not any longer. She says cool, we are only here for 3. I once saw Jeff Bezos pay $100,000 to get a guy off the stage at an auction event. The guy on stage wasn't going to leave until he reached his goal, and Jeff was tired of listening to him. By Felicia. $? Someone once asked me where I summer, crying face, never felt so poor than saying Here? Using summer as a verb, is a sign we are not in the same tax bracket. Get stressed from a true crime podcast and book a tropical getaway to decompress. I had a friend of mine casually ask if I wanted to go to Dubai for a week to do some skydiving training in a couple of weeks. My response was no, I have to work for a living. Blew my mind when they asked me like it was no biggie to duck out for a week and blow $15,000. I live not far from an old now abandoned castle in France. It was bought decades ago by a Chinese couple. They had the staircase taken out and shipped to China and just left the place and never returned. It's been neglected since. There is a large liquor store near me. They have very expensive bottles in the back room. One Christmas I was standing in line. The man in front of me had 1 case of wine, 12 bottles of various variety. The checker said, "Okay, that will be $27,455. WTF? Guy hands over his credit card. Followed him out, drove away in a Bentley. Had one of the outside salesmen drop in and we were talking about clothes for some reason. He said he donates his clothes to charity every year so he doesn't buy the very expensive shirts. His shirts are $300 each. Then he tells me he does buy decent shoes though. He showed me a company online where most of the shoes cost more than my car. How do we work for the same company and live that differently?" This isn't as extreme as most of the stories in this thread, but my in-laws casually have Chicago Cubs season tickets and attend 70-ish of their home games. Not so crazy, except that we all live in Nashville. I come from a very poor family, so the first time I learned that I was absolutely blown away. Pales in comparison to some, but this guy paid me $100 just to walk over to the pianist at the fancy restaurant I worked, and hand him $500 to play another Elvis song. He was a Texas oil guy. Friends' wealthy parents were going to give me a set of furniture for free until I wound up moving cross-country, couldn't accept it. Before I was to take it, I asked for the manufacturer so I could take measurements for my house, to make it all fit. They responded, "Oh, we're not sure, it's pretty old." Here I thought it was maybe from the 70s. Yes, it was from the 70s. The fucking 1870s, from France, and it was all handmade Louis XV pieces. When I showed my home decor obsessed mother, she appraised it all. Some were north of $5,000, just for a small hallway desk. We're both upset about it to this day. I worked $1 million wedding once. They dumped $50,000 worth of flowers in the trash after the ceremony. They didn't even wait till the wedding was over or donate the flowers. A girl I worked with asked me where I spent my summers if I didn't have a beach house. I said, her beach house, and she invited me the next summer. Never went though. Have a literal bell to call the maids, also an intercom. My soon-to-be mother-in-law asked me and my fiancé, her son, if we knew that some people don't have reliable transportation to get to college. which causes them to miss class and or show up late. Apparently, her most recent appointment as the chair of a teacher education program at a university has been very eye-opening for her. I watched a guy walk into a car dealership and buy a Suburban. He literally walks in, goes up to a sales guy, points to the one in the lobby, and goes, "I'll buy it, I don't want to haggle or any high pressure bullshit. I'll pay sticker and I need to be done in 10 minutes. He was driving it out of there 10 minutes later. I asked the other sales guy, "Who the fuck is that?" He goes, "He owns a bunch of fast food places, Pizza Huts and KFCs and stuff, I think. He comes in every few months." "What does he do with the cars?" I asked. "Sometimes trades even in, sometimes signs them over to friends or family members. He gave our secretary his old Corvette. Said it was about to die anyway. Only had like 50k miles on it. She still has it, been 3 years. We used to summer in the Hamptons." From my so at the time. I said, "We used to summer in a trailer park which was also our home." My brother-in-law spent $44,000 on an 8x10 drawing of a stick figure that looks like a 5-year-old drew it. I am a professor at a private university. One October I was talking with one of my students about a hurricane that was approaching Miami and how bad it could be for the people who lived there. The student, who was from Chicago, said in acknowledgement, "Yes, my family had to have our captain move our boat. I believe it was Hurricane Matthew and it turned northward before reaching Miami." Went to a wedding as a one at a mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, the bride's parents' home. Her father was talking about the landscaping and how his wife liked a rock which was about the size of a small car that was at their other home outside of Denver, so they had the rock moved from Denver to Connecticut. Seriously, they moved a rock halfway across the country. A fucking rock. As we are installing a wireless access point in their home theater, my son crashed and totaled his Mercedes. "Will you guys be done in time before he gets back? We need to take him to get another one." A guy I served at a bar paid me to let him keep drinking at the bar after close while he waited for his ride. Am going to the lake house to summer with friends. My buddy went to Five Guys yesterday. I witnessed a guy park in a bus zone in front of a meter maid. They told him he can't park there. He told them have the towing company park it for me. I'll have someone pick it up later. My manager told me about his copper mug for Moscow mules with "no whining" on the yacht engraved on it. I feel like there are levels to this.